All right, folks. So one of you guys tagged me in a video on Twitter that I found to be very, very, very interesting, right? And it features a pastor by the name of Geno Jenkins talking about Black Lives Matter, right? And I found his address to be interesting because it comes during a time in which ABC News had reported that at least 12 cities, at least as of December 8th last year, had record high homicide rates according to police data, right? Now, a majority of those victims, right? A majority of those people that have died in those cities are black, right? So we've lost a whole lot of black lives last year. I mean, in 2020, we lost at least 8,600 black lives, right? Primarily to other black people, right? But for whatever reason, Black Lives Matter has been silent on that. Right? Again, during a time in which black lives are being lost at a record pace, Black Lives Matter has nothing to say about that. In fact, they're doubling down on their defund the police / abolish the police rhetoric, right? So I found it fascinating and interesting that this pastor comes out here and calls out Black Lives Matter for the fact that they don't actually care about black lives that are being lost to other black people. They only care about black lives when it's lost to a white police officer, which is something that, you know, people who are conservative and also people who are conservative and happen to be black, they say all the time. But apparently that's white supremacist talk, right? According to the left. That's white supremacist talk if you point that out. So with that being said, before I get into this, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can do so using the links in the description below. You can support the Patreon, you can support the PayPal, you can support the merch. There are multiple ways to support the channel if you would like to do so, including getting yourself one of my signature racist mugs, right? Which is basically your daily reminder of what the 2022 definition of racism is according to the Democrat Party, which is anybody who disagrees with them, right? So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this pastor calling out Black Lives Matter.
And I find it very offensive and hypocritical. The slogan, Black Lives Matter, is a true slogan. It is a true statement. But I find it very hypocritical. And I find it greatly offensive that this is stated or paraded about, and the voices are lifted up in the earth only in most occasions when a white man kills a black person.
Ding, 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 ding. Right? That white supremacist talk right there. Right? According to the left, you can't say that. You can't say that because, you know, according to them, you know, well, Black Lives Matter is specifically to bring attention to police killing unarmed black people, right? That's what it's supposed to be about, right? So why'd you name it Black Lives Matter for, right? You should have named it Black Lives Matter that are killed by white police officers. That's what you should have named it, okay? Because Black Lives Matter, when you think about the name, and this is why I'm so annoyed by this name, it basically implies that you care about all black lives, right? That any black life that's lost is an important life that mattered, okay? And in general, in my opinion, you know, all lives matter, right? I mean, and that really should be the slogan, right? The slogan really should be all lives matter, which basically would show people that, hey, you know what? No matter which life is lost at the hands of police brutality, all of those lives mattered. I think that message would have been more unifying in Black Lives Matter, but that is what it is. I'm just saying, the name in and of itself implies that you're supposed to care when any black life is lost, not necessarily when it is lost at the hands of a police officer, specifically a white police officer, because they don't care about black people that get killed by black police officers, right? Because there's no racial angle there, right? It's hard to play the white supremacy card when the officer that's putting hot lead in somebody is black. Hard to play the race card, okay? This pastor, even he's picking up on this, right? On the buffoonery here and hypocrisy.
Black lives shouldn't matter when there is a black person killing a black person or a black man is a black woman.
Facts. Facts. Again, considering how there's been record number of homicides and Black Lives lost in the last 2 years or so, we should see Black Lives Matter protests every single day, right? If the left cares as much as they claim they do, right? We should be people out protesting every single day until this problem is solved, right? But you don't see that. You don't see it at all, right? Again, a record number of Black lives lost. Apparently, those Black lives didn't matter, right? Apparently, they don't matter, okay? Again, I found it fascinating how this works. And dementia, right? Dementia, I mean, police brutality in terms of people, cops killing Black folks. I mean, in 2021, at the very least, according to Statista, there was only about 100 or so, right? Now, most years it's about 200 or 300 or so, whatever, but that's still nothing compared to the 8,000 Black lives that are lost each year from homicide, right? So again, this is why I try to tell people when they want to talk about the whole police brutality issue, that it is not even a top 10 issue in the Black community. It's not really a real issue. The only people it really affects are people that are committing crimes, right? That basically increase the chances of them interacting with the police, non-law-abiding citizens. And two, those people who are not law-abiding citizens that happen to be resisting arrest. Those are the people that it actually really affects, okay? The most, overwhelmingly, okay?
Same energy that filled the streets of America when these lowlives that pose as policemen, all policemen are not bad. There's some good white brothers. And there's some good white sisters. And there's some good Black brothers and good Black sisters.
I would go even further and say that most people are good, right? For the most part. I wouldn't say some. Some, it's like, it could be 50-50. No. I would say most, okay? Most people are good, right? At least I'm trying to be a positive person about this, okay? Most people have good intentions. Most people are not out here trying to just screw around with people for no reason. If that was the case, I don't think our society would have progressed to the point that it has now, if that was the case.
But you have no good, low-life, poor crooks of very nationality across the board. But when you can just yell Black Lives Matter when white cops kill Black people, it's hypocritical. Because our Black people are murdering and killing each other every day like mad dogs.
Facts. I'm just saying, I mean, these are facts. Okay, in Chicago, right, in 2020, 80% of gun violence victims were Black. Okay, 71% of shooting victims were Black in New York City. Now, Black people only make up 26% of that city's population. These are the same people that always want to talk about Black people are disproportionately affected by such and such and such. Okay, well, what about gun violence, right? Y'all want to have a conversation about that? How in the world is Black people 26% of a city's population, but they're 71% of the shooting victims? And according to the Department of Justice, between 1980 and 2008, 93% of Black victims were killed by Black offenders, right? So a majority of those people, okay, that are disproportionately being affected by gun violence are killed by Black people. But again, the race crusaders that always want to talk about the negative disproportionate effects that are happening to Black people, they don't ever want to bring that up. They don't never want to talk about that, right? It's almost like that is just inconvenient for them to talk about and bring up. Again, I find that to be fascinating because, again, that's the first thing they'll say. Well, Black people are disproportionately affected by police violence. Well, Black people also disproportionately commit the murders. Black people also disproportionately kill each other, right? I mean, I'm just saying, we got to tell the whole story here.
Here in Philadelphia alone, almost 600 or close to 700 homicides, and most of them Blacks killing Black. Oh, whites doing it too, but to my sad regret, the Blacks get most of the publicity because you, young men, young women, that's running the streets, the wildebeests of Africa. have more discipline than your madness. And don't pass the buck and say white people got you like this. Murder is a choice.
See, when you start talking like that, again, this is what the left calls the black, liberals. They say, oh no, this white supremacy talk, right? You a C word, right? You a sellout, okay? I wonder what they call this pastor that. Is this pastor a C word, okay? Is he a sellout for saying, hey, no, you can't blame white people for murder. You can't blame white people for what individuals do. I wonder if he's a sellout for saying that. Again, because this right here sounds like what black conservatives be saying all the time, right? We call C words and sellouts and uncle disses and uncle that's all the time, right? I wonder what they say that to this pastor right here. Is he one of those people? Right? Is he selling out because he's telling the truth about the hypocrisy of Black Lives Matter? Because he's telling the truth and calling out the fact that most of the problems in regards to black lives being lost are from other black people? I'm just saying.
Oh, you listen to the old man. Well, Pastor Jennings, you don't know what it's like. Oh, hush your mouth. I am a full thoroughbred black man from the hood. Amen. When I came up, if we had a disagreement and wanted to mix it up, in my generation, the term fair one was introduced. You young people don't know what fair one means.
Yeah, so he's basically going to talk about how back when he was growing up, they used to fight it out, right? They would fight it out, right? Instead of shooting and killing each other, they fight it out and, go play basketball and drink, liquor on the corner or something like that. But again, this message right here, it comes at a time, again, which we have record homicide rates going on in cities across this country. Right, I've called it out. Other news outlets like Fox News have called it out. The mainstream liberal media says it doesn't exist. It's, don't pay attention to it. Blah blah blah. But again, this pastor who's actually in this community in Philadelphia, one of these cities that are being affected, is like, yo, where's Black Lives Matter? Right? Why don't people care about all the black people that are being killed by other black folks? Right? The record homicides that's going on right now. Why don't people care about that? Why is that being swept under the rug? When every time a white police officer kills somebody black, there's a protest in the street. There's riots. There's looting. There's violence. Right? People get all butthurt and upset talking about they're being killed every single day, but they're not actually pointing out the people that are actually killing them every single day. Right? Again, I find it to be fascinating. And I love how this pastor called out, because you can't just easily throw around the words that the left uses to describe black people that tell the truth about what's actually going on. So, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.